Some nights I'd make $5. Some nights I'd make $4. I remember one Good Friday I worked and I made $20.
Wow, I just got paid in like dinner.
But I mean, I'm sure he's telling us,
Yeah,
hey,
but my
tell your parents
grandfather-
to call in an order. Tell your parents to call in an order. I need a quarter.
Welcome to the official podcast of Foodies of Lafayette, where flavor meets community. A huge thank you to our Chef's Table sponsor, Logic Refrigeration and HVAC. Reach out to Seth, 337-242-1000. Let's join our hosts, Heidi McDonald and Jason Stoner.
Hey, y'all, it's Jason Stoner, and I'm here at the lovely Sunday Soda Fountain downtown. I'm here today with my beautiful co-host, Tiffany DeLeon Stewart.
I'll pay you later.
Thank you for coming. Heidi's ditched us again this week. She's MIA, but anyway, I'm here today to talk to Toby Lagneaux of Lagneaux's Seafood Restaurant, and I am so excited about that. But before we get into that, I would like to thank the partners that make all of this possible to bring these amazing stories about legends in town, such as Toby. We want to thank Logic Refrigeration HVAC. Seth Randall over there, thank you so much for all you do in our Chef's Table sponsorship. I'd like to also thank Ounce of Hope. Ounce of Hope is an amazing drink. Thank you, Colin, for all that you do. Vermilionville. Oh, my gosh. I love you guys. Thank you, Ellen, for supporting this podcast. The Cajun Table. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. And Soul House. Thank you for allowing us the ability to talk to these badasses that we talk to. Also, Chris Logan Media, you're awesome. And Parish Inc. Thank you for all the stuff you do in partnership with our shirts. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, Toby. I'm so honored to have you here.
Thank you, Jason.
You are just an icon in town. Your family has built a restaurant and a business that is
Not so much me, but
truly
the family.
amazing. You're part of that, and I know you've been around that restaurant since you were a kid, but also such a big part of our community. But I want to start off with where it all started. Talk about Junior,
Right.
and talk about where it all started and kind of the history there, and we'll move through that history and talk about it a
Sure.
little bit further.
So my grandparents started the restaurant in '69, but before that, it was a meat market and slaughterhouse that they opened in 1965.
So some people may not know. I mean, you still have the meat market.
We do.
But
We
I
do.
didn't know until I researched that started it all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What would happen is local farmers would bring cows, hogs, sheep in. They'd be slaughtered. Well, while waiting for their calves to be cut and wrapped, a lot of times they'd started off with short orders, a po' boy, a hamburger.
Right.
They would started cooking that for people waiting, maybe a plate lunch.
Okay.
And that kind of grew in popularity, and 3 or 4 years later, they opened a restaurant.
So did your grandfather butcher? Was he a butcher?
Well, he was a jack of all trades, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Before he started the slaughterhouse, he was a farmer primarily.
Okay.
He also served some time as a deputy sheriff in Lafayette
Oh, wow.
and was in the pesticide business, sold chemicals as well.
Okay. So you guys had farmland out off Ridge.
Absolutely.
And still do.
Sure. My great-grandfather, Mias Lagneaux Sr., was a sharecropper. Had an immense amount of property that he'd farm.
Wow.
Had people living on the property and would farm with him, and that's where it started.
So was your grandmother involved in all that as well?
Absolutely. A lot of people would say that she was the boss of the whole,
She
out of
was
the
the
whole thing.
boss.
Yes, absolutely. She took care of all the financials and was a strong arm. Leave it at that.
We just have to take care of them. That's all.
Yep.
That's our lot. in
Something
life as
along
women.
those lines. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Uh-huh.
So I did notice, the meat market, and then and you made reference of a small area, a small restaurant. I read something about 8 tables.
Sure.
Is there anything about that history? I mean, how long did that go on before it kind of expanded?
Well, it expanded due to a fire in January of 1973. There was an electrical fire. The original structure burned, and my grandfather had a lot of friends. Within 6 to 8 weeks, they had the place rebuilt
Oh, wow.
That's beautiful.
into what you see today. Yeah. Which
So
is an
in
old
that
building, but
location.
that's it.
Okay.
So the building that we have now has been there since '73.
So going forward with all that, how long did they work in that in the meat market and restaurant. How many years did they have it before it passed on to another generation?
They worked until they passed away. You know.
How old were y'all when you start? Like, how old were you? What's your first memory? Because I grew up in a family business as well. We were in oil and gas. But
I remember when I was 6, maybe 7. I had an aunt of mine, Sheila, who's one of the owners now. She would sit in the store on busy Friday and Saturday evenings, and she would answer the phone and take to-go orders and write them down on a little piece of paper. And my job was to bring them to the kitchen.
there you go.
And every time I brought one to the kitchen, I made a quarter.
Oh, wow.
So,
It's a good job.
right, some nights I'd make $5, some nights I'd make $4. I remember one Good Friday I worked and I made $20.
Wow, I just got paid in like dinner.
But I mean, I'm sure he's telling us,
Yeah, but
hey,
my
tell your parents
grandfather-
to call in an order. Tell your parents to call in an order. I need a quarter.
My grandfather always instilled in us a work ethic, as well as my father, in this and that, to where if you worked, you would get
Right.
rewarded.
Right.
So,
Talking about that, I'm sure there was quite a bit of lessons or things that were instilled or inspired by him. What are some other things? Work ethic, and what was that like? What was he like?
well, he liked to have a good time. He also liked and believed in hard work and just towing the line and do things the right way.
That generation did. They really were the
Absolutely.
greatest generation
Absolutely.
for
They
that
were.
reason. They
And-
just
and-
knew to put their head down and get it done. But at the same time, they were teaching us such great, valuable
Absolutely.
lessons. My grandfather had a 6th grade education, and it was kind of the same thing where he acquired land
Absolutely.
and businesses, and he taught us as grandchildren, first off, because it was our name, then we had to be there early and extra work.
Absolutely.
And I think if you ask anybody in a family business, that's always the standard. Is
You have to work harder than
you have to
than
work
your
harder
boys.
than anyone else. Just because your name's on the door doesn't mean anything.
I couldn't
other
say it
than
any better.
You have to work harder.
You're right.
Oh,
It was
absolutely.
a blessing and a curse, but it made us who we are.
Yes, ma'am.
But the other
Absolutely.
thing that made him who he was, from looking at this, is he was really good with customers.
Sure.
Like, he worked that dining room.
He had a personality as big as this room that we're sitting in right here.
Yeah.
Everyone knew Junior.
Yeah.
Nice.
But I mean, even today, I see you do that. You do that as well.
No,
Not to his level.
not at that level. No, sir. No, sir. I'm a little bit more reserved.
So, who had it in between you guys? Was that
Well,
the second generation?
the second generation, they had 5 children. My father and my Uncle William were twins. They both passed on.
Okay.
They have 2 sisters, Sheila and Darlene, who are still very active in the restaurant, managing and taking care of things. And then my Uncle Brian is the baby in the group, and he takes care of all of our crawfish ponds, our farmland, and this
Okay.
and that. We do have, right now, about 100 acres of crawfish ponds that we fish, roughly about 1,600 traps.
Wow.
When we provide the restaurant with that. So
A lot of people
that's
may
his
not
outlet.
realize it, but the crawfish does come from their ponds.
Yeah.
I
No,
learned that last
so
year.
when I was little, I lived off of Ridge Road.
Sure.
And so I grew up in that area for a little bit, and it was always, I just could tell people, like, we live at Lagneaux. We live by Lagneaux. That's all I ever knew, was we lived by Lagneaux, because it was either the crawfish pond or the farm, or there was always Lagneaux. The Lagneaux family, they were always somewhere around us.
Sure.
And that was just kind of like, that's just how
My
we just knew.
My Uncle Doyce Lagneaux had the equivalent of a Walmart in Judy's forever and
Yeah.
ever. He opened that store in 1940. You could go in there and buy your kids' clothing for school and buy a washer and dryer on the same visit.
Wow.
Notebooks, the whole 9 yards.
But that's one thing I find interesting and really cool about your family, is that before we started with the whole, like, oh, there's a food desert and there's all these pockets, y'all just answered it. Y'all just said, no, this is where we need to put a store. This is where we need to have these kind of things, because this is what people need in this area. You didn't wait for it to be built. You didn't wait for Walmart or anything else. You just answered.
Right. Well, I was way before my time, but yeah, absolutely. I mean,
But
that-
wasn't that, when it was built, wasn't it way out
It was far.
way out there?
Like where Lagneaux is, I remember that when I was younger in the 80s, that was like, oh, that's country. Now
Absolutely.
it's like, well, that's just right there, because we've grown so much as a city. But no, Lagneaux was just it was
On the edge of
It's
Earth.
kind of like, I'm sure if you went to New York City and went, that's the Statue of Liberty, that's the Chrysler Tower. It's like, that's Lagneaux. That's, you know,
Right.
it's,
Yeah.
that's
You
what
know,
it is.
With that being said, talking about proximity, we still get a good amount of customers from Acadia Parish.
Really?
Coming from Crowley
Yeah.
and Rain, because in the 60s, early 70s, there wasn't much going on out there. So they'd get to the big city, which was where we were, on the edge of it, and they'd come to Lagneaux because it was the closest place
Right.
available for them to eat something like that.
Well, and it was for family.
Yes.
It was
Sure.
really open for family. It was a casual restaurant, jeans, shorts, swimming boots, whatever. But it was more geared toward families.
Absolutely.
And it still really is. When you walk in there, I'm not going to say you have to dress up by any means. It's for family.
Well, on our menu, and it's one of my grandfather's big sticking points, it's always been one of our little slogans. It's come as you are and bring the kids.
I like that.
There was nothing pretentious about the restaurant, and there still isn't.
Yeah.
We're just out there trying to put out a good product.
But it really does feel like when you walk into the restaurant, everything feels so familiar.
Sure.
And it was funny because I hadn't been in years, and when I walked in last
like a
last
time
week or
capsule.
so, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am back at Ridge Elementary School. And I'm like, what? I remember this, and I remembered where everything was. It was like you go away and you don't see family for a while, and then you go back to their house and you remember where everything
Sure.
was, and it was just that.
And people love it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, if you change that, people would probably just throw a fit. They would be
Oh.
like, why did you do that? But I do. There's so many times that I've heard someone say, even the potluck that we do, I haven't been here in a while, and it brings back memories of me being a little girl in a birthday party. And I mean, just the story's there. It's been there for a long, long time. It's an
yeah.
icon for sure. So at what point did you take the reins in this thing?
Well,
Or at least managing.
Well, we've always been hands-on. I mean, as we spoke about earlier, you expected to do more.
Yeah.
So, it just kind of came naturally. I mean, whenever you grow up somewhere, like Joey, for example, his father was in the meat market forever, and he just assumed that you're going to
That's what you're going to do.
That's what you're going to
gonna
do.
do. I have a brother that lives in New Orleans. He manages 7 restaurants for Donald Link,
Okay.
Link Restaurant Group. And my cousin Stacy has Stacy's Catering in town.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know
So-
Stacy. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're it's just
It's what you do.
it's in your blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that
We all-
Joey helps her out quite a bit. Like
Sure.
he's out there flipping steaks quite a bit for her.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what we do. It's just ingrained in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many family members are working
I mean-
under Lagneaux?
Right now, if I had to guess, not as much as it has been in the past, but that fluctuates sometimes.
Yeah.
As we have people come up in age, and I would guess 10.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a
Wow.
family affair for sure.
Sure.
Talking about Joey, so the meat market still exists. It's one of my favorite meat markets in town, I've got to say. And Joey is one of the nicest. Well, actually, I haven't met a Lagneaux I don't like.
No, there's none.
There's none. So I'll go over and I'll get meat from Joey. But I know that coming up, deer processing is a big thing.
Yeah, he's into it right now.
Is he?
Getting started.
I saw all the ice chest out back.
Sure.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I know that that's big. But how long is Joey? Did y'all kind of start around the same time? I know
We're
y'all
a year
been
apart.
You're
Oh,
a year
okay.
apart. So,
So y'all were
so-
raised like brothers, basically.
Yeah, playing hide and go seek in the restaurant whenever it was closed. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
But y'all, I mean, you've certainly taken the reins on management for the restaurant as well as the meat market.
Sure.
And I'm sure y'all work closely together. But is there any history there with the meat market and where I know that started it, but his dad was before him?
sure.
And where was he in the family?
My Uncle William and my father.
Uncle William, okay.
After school, helped open the restaurant. Both joined the National Guard, late 60s, and would do their weekend stints with the Guard, and then they full-time work. I mean, they helped to establish the restaurant along with my grandparents, and the sisters came along, and then Brian was 18 years younger than my father and my Uncle William.
I have a
so,
sister like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I mean,
Wow.
It's a second family is what
Right.
ended up happening.
Absolutely.
And it's a tough line when you want to parent them, but then you're like, oh, that's my sibling. It's you're on your own.
He's my uncle, but he's 7 years older
Right.
than I am. So.
Yep.
So at first you were selling po' boys, you were doing that, but at some point you guys decided to do a buffet.
Well, that came about out of necessity. With the oil field crash in the mid to late 80s,
Yeah.
the restaurant wasn't doing very well at all. So if I'm telling the story correctly, my grandfather and my grandmother and a couple of their friends went ride somewhere maybe around New Orleans, between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. Don't
White
quote
Lake
me.
and
Don't quote me on this, but it's a place
Golden
that had a
Meadow and all
buffet. There's a place that had a buffet, and they went and they ate and checked it out, and he was like, it's just basically like a last-ditch effort. They were
that was their Hail
dire
Mary.
Wow.
straits, right? So he invested the money into the buffet tables, and in 1990 we started it, and it was $9.95 all you could eat.
$9.95. Take the family.
Right.
Wow. That where are we now? We're at $25.95.
And-
Yeah,
and-
$25.95.
But y'all and who was it? You, Catfish Shack, and Peking Gardens. Y'all, I think, were the 3 staple restaurants in Lafayette that survived the oil crash.
Well, LaFonda,
And La Fonda.
of course, Elise. I mean,
And
there's
Elise.
Don's. There's several. There's
some.
several of them, but a whole lot of attrition in that. There's a whole lot of them that didn't make it.
Yeah. It was people had bumper stickers that said like last one to leave Lafayette, turn the lights off.
Right.
It was it was a rough time,
Wow.
but
It affected.
but this town made it through it, you know.
So let's talk about your other employees. I've had the pleasure of meeting many of your employees with your community work that we'll get to, but you seem to have longevity there.
Sure, we do.
And that's important. Why do you think they stay?
Well, I'd like to think that we take care of them. Number one,
Yeah.
you know, it's one big family.
If you're starting a new restaurant, you need to watch these episodes about icons and why they don't struggle with having with staff.
Turnover for us is busboys, dishwashers,
Right.
kids. You
Yeah.
know, people
Yeah.
that were given their first job to 17, 18 years old. They'll move on. They'll go to college.
Right.
They might find something a little bit better.
Yeah.
But as far as our integral employees and the people that make it happen, we don't have much turnover at all.
That
I
says
love
a lot.
Awesome, which is awesome. We're very lucky. in
Do
that
you have any
regard.
multi-generation employees that are not last name Lagneaux?
As far as when you say multi,
Someone been in there?
oh
you know,
my, we've had several of them. I mean, over the course of 56 years, we've had people that have worked for us 30, 40 years.
Oh, wow.
You know, some of them have passed on. Some of them just retired. You know.
That is certainly a testament of taking care of people when they're 30 and 40 years in.
Oh,
Absolutely. We've had some servers. Miss Bernice, for example, Bernice Bauer, waited tables for us, and 30, 35 years, I mean, part of the family. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're
Absolutely.
kitchen employees as well. We have Miss Marie Gum. She passed on. She cooked for us for 30, 40 years. I mean, great
Now,
people.
Whose recipes are those on the line?
On the line. That I can't tell you because they were there before I was born. We've changed some things. We have tweaked some things. A couple of different entrees, but a lot of it's the original stuff.
Nice.
You think that was your grandmother?
My grandmother, my grandfather, maybe they had help from some of their employees. Definitely my grandmother and my grandfather had a great influence in that because they were always on top of it. And, you know, you
Yeah.
walk in and he'd taste something, and if he didn't like it, it wasn't very good.
Do you do that today? Do you go and taste some things?
Absolutely. I
Like-
taste everything.
Everything. Wow. Wow. What's your favorite thing on that? Do you have a favorite? I mean, this has been years of you eating that food. So
Right.
I understand if you say no.
I'm very partial to our crawfish bisque.
Okay.
There's a stuffed snapper on the menu that I like. As far as the buffet, you can't go wrong with some good, hot, fresh, balled shrimp. You know,
No.
we get all of our seafood local, you know. So it's all Louisiana shrimp.
Yeah, you get that down in Delcom?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Seagold, as a matter of fact. I'll throw out a shout out to Seagold.
Yeah,
Sam
Seagold.
Scansey at Seagold.
That's amazing. I'd like to take a moment to thank one of our Chef's Table sponsors, Logic Refrigeration HVAC. Logic Refrigeration HVAC provides refrigeration HVAC services for restaurants and commercial properties in town. They also service restaurant equipment. Seth Randall is a huge player in our community fridge project and has donated double fridges for the community fridge project, as well as maintenance. I know that Toby here uses Logic in his restaurants.
Sure do.
If you are a restaurant owner and you need refrigeration HVAC services or just equipment repair, please consider Logic Refrigeration HVAC. All right, so we're back with Toby, and we've been talking about a little bit of the history, but there's something else I want to cover, something that is really dear to me in what we're doing with the Lafayette Community Fridge. I know that, I guess toward the end of May, we started a campaign with Lagneaux, thank you so much, to recover food. And you stepped up and said, hey, I really don't want to throw this away. And we built a whole army of volunteers that go pick up and see you every day, Tuesday through Friday, I should say. But that has been amazing. We have, I think we're probably sitting around 5,000 meals that's been donated since the end of May.
Almost.
Yeah. So
What made you want to do that?
Well, Jason approached me
Okay.
with what was
Twisted your
going
arm.
on, and the fact that we have a buffet,
Right.
it enables us to do it.
Yeah.
We have 24 items up there at any given time, and you can't let it go empty.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the night, we want it to where there's hardly anything left, but still there's something left. So with 24 different spots, you get a couple of to-go boxes, you put a little bit of this, a little bit of that. The next thing you know, you have a full box of food. Well, 5,000 boxes later, almost 5,000 boxes later, we've been helping out, and it makes my staff feel good. It makes me feel good.
I have been in there. Sometimes I go and I pick up the food and deliver to Abbeville, and the staff is so excited to be working on the project. All of them are very excited, and just it is a feel-good moment. But most of the time when I walk in, I just stroll in the back like I own the place, and I don't. But I stroll in the back, and I will see Toby putting together those boxes and backing them up and loading cars. And he could very well have someone else do that, but he doesn't.
But that tells you, that lends to the fact that you guys have been so successful for so long, because it sounds like the leadership goes from top down.
Well, we try.
And
We try.
always, it's not, I'm the owner, that's my name, y'all box up the stuff, I'm out.
No, I do it probably.
And that makes a huge difference.
80% of the time I do it myself.
So it sounds like that's just the culture at Lagneaux, is to help one another.
Well, it is. It really is. I mean, we like to think that we were raised the right way,
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, and having nothing to do with the business.
Right.
Yeah.
You just help people.
Yeah.
And I'll tell a story if you got a second.
Absolutely.
We had a young lady 3-4 weeks into the process that came to get some bags, and I load her up, 15, 16 lunches. She was going to Abbeville with them, and she stops and she grabs me by the hand, and she proceeds to thank me because 2 to 3 weeks ago, she was relying on these meals. She was in an abusive relationship, was trying to get back on her feet, just got her vehicle back, and she thought that it would be a good idea to volunteer to bring the meals since she had her vehicle, and it touched me. It did. Whenever you're giving it away and whenever it's just boxes and there's no face behind it,
Right.
it's a little, it's not as, well, it was almost off-putting.
Yeah.
It was something.
And that right there has to feel amazing.
It did.
It
really
does.
did.
It does. It's beautiful. Not only that, you guys, I want to bring up that you guys have donated now the space. You allow us to come in on a Sunday for our Friendsgiving potluck, and the community fridge. Everything that's happened this year with that, because we really took over in January. Everything that's happened with that has just grown and grown and grown. And so while you were on vacation, we had our potluck, and because of you, we were able to fit everyone. You have such a huge restaurant. Everyone was able to fit, and I think there was close to 160 people there, maybe, in those dishes, and it's just been amazing. But because of you, we raised about $5,600 for that. And again, you just donate, and your staff comes in on a Sunday, and it's truly amazing. I appreciate that.
I mean, it's a big space. We're closed on Sundays. You guys needed a venue. I mean,
Yeah.
I love
we're
that
doing good.
Yeah, I love that that you recognize that you live in abundance, and why hold it?
Well, right.
You know, like what good is it going to do if I just hold on to everything that I have
Right, I
versus
mean-
just opening it up? So you've changed that woman's life. I found I volunteer with the community fridge, and a lot of times I'll go there.
I don't know if I changed their life, but I helped her out in time of need.
You did, I promise. It's little things that change
Okay.
people's lives. And they had a guy there, and we were talking about zucchini. We had a bunch of zucchini, and I was telling him my mom makes this thing with zucchini and chicken, and it's like this Tex-Mex dish. And he's like, I love zucchini. I'm gonna do this. He goes, and one day I'm gonna have you come over. And I'm like, really? Like, he's inviting me. He's there to get food. And then it reminded me, and it changed my life, because I thought, I'm helping him, but he's helping me remember who I am. I'm just part of this community. I'm just a small part of it, but we can affect one another in these great, huge ways. And
Absolutely.
Lagneaux has done that for us, for the community
Thank you.
fridge. It's been amazing to see. And I think it's one of those, the peers in the restaurant industry see that if Lagneaux can do this, then why
Yes.
can't
Well, I would
I?
hope so.
That's
And-
why I
and-
like
you
the
know,
post.
And it's setting it. You lead by example.
I'm not trying to do it for any kind of
No.
monetary gain or
No.
any kind of notoriety for that matter. It's just the right thing to do.
Right.
But it raises that awareness.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
It raises the awareness. A lot of those posts get a lot of reach, and what we've seen is because of, in part, what you're doing, other people are pitching in all the
Good.
fridges, not just our two. So last weekend, and this could be any week, but I saw just an influx of that fridge being stocked every single day with something other than Lagneaux. And then we've gotten to know that Lagneaux doesn't deliver on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. So people are pitching in those days.
Good.
So it really is an amazing thing. And I just can't wait to see, what the influence does. And,
Well,
and we're talking the reach.
Yeah,
that our
and you've
voice
started a
has.
conversation amongst restaurants
Good.
of what does the food waste look like, and does it need to be waste?
Right.
Can we repurpose this food for something else? Whether it's making a soup with it and maybe giving that, or just boxing up and giving those. And I've noticed that I've had people and friends that say, "Is there really that much food waste in the restaurant industry?" And I'm like,
Well, it's not
it
supposed to be if you're
There's
doing
not
it
supposed
right.
to be if you're doing it right, but sometimes it happens, and you can't do anything with it. You can't refreeze. I had a caterer that came, and she says, I pre-batch my jambalaya, and then I can't refreeze it. Like, that's it. So
Right.
here's a big old pan of jambalaya.
Sure.
So I'm pulling out all my Tupperware, and I just gave out all my Tupperware to the community
Yeah.
fridge.
Exactly.
But they got jambalaya.
There you go.
And potato salad.
All right, Toby, is there anything you'd like to add? Anything you can think of? You said you had stories.
I mean, I do have stories, but
What's the craziest thing that's happened at Lagneaux?
well, there's one.
Should I
story.
say mostly legal or crazy?
Well-
Crazy? Huh?
There's one story back in the day whenever they were slaughtering and butchering, they had a goat that got out, a male goat. So he makes his way from the back. We used to have pens behind the restaurant, believe it or not, where they would actually
Like
house
hold
the
hands.
cattle and the hogs and this and that before, the day before they'd be slaughtered. And the goat gets loose. He comes around to the front of the restaurant, sees his reflection in the front door,
No.
and it shatters. Well, he made his way to the front of the line as far as the slaughtering was concerned that day. It's just one of many. One of many. We had a glass guy on the way, and he was on his way to the back.
Right.
So
That's
Oh, my
funny.
gosh.
Now, does everyone in your family know how to butcher?
no, not anymore. My cousin Joey, he was on the tail end of it. What happened is there's not many slaughterhouses left.
No.
Big beef, pretty much.
Okay.
Through HACCP regulations in Congress made it almost impossible for the little guy to continue to operate with a profitable basis. They safety elements and this and that and federal inspectors and all of the costs that was associated with being
all
able
of
to
those.
slaughter.
Right. They regulated you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, before we get out of here with this episode, I'd like to thank our main course sponsors, Ounce of Hope, and Vermilionville. Vermilionville is an amazing place. If you haven't been there, go check them out, with the history and heritage of Acadiana. And they've always got events. Check out their website. Coming up in December, they've got a Christmas dinner cruise on the Vermilion. It's going to be amazing. I'm thinking about being there. So anyway, check them out. And Ounce of Hope makes THC-infused products. I love this seltzer. I like to relax with this seltzer on the weekend. And it's a really good thing to sip out by the pool or the fire pit. Anyway, thank you, Colin, with Ounce of Hope. Thank you, Vermilionville, for allowing us to tell these amazing stories. Toby, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for
My
being
pleasure.
here today and
Thank y'all.
telling the story about Lagneaux. What an icon and legendary restaurant. And I love driving by. I live off Ridge Road. I love driving by almost every night, and I'm like, he's doing good tonight. That parking lot's full. Sometimes it's in the bar. Sometimes it's parked over, toward the fence on the other side. I love those nights. I'm like, yeah, you go.
We like them too.
What a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Let's eat.
Make sure to subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. And thanks again to our Chef's Table sponsor, Logic Refrigeration and HVAC. You can learn more at getlogicservice.com. If you have a restaurant, commercial business, Seth can take care of you. Give him a call, 337-242-1000. Until next time, let's eat.